let's get into this whole situation about the Secret Service. Is it compromised? And then after that, we're going to get into Hillary Clinton and her thoughts on Trump in general. Let's get into it, y'all.
For more on this, we're joined by Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett, member of the House Oversight Committee, but looking in the previous assassination of Tim. Congressman Burchett, thank you for joining us. I mean, this nation today came so close to an assassination, it seems, of the former president. Just yards, a muzzle poking through a chain-link fence, spotted by a professional advance team, a Secret Service agent who fired shots. What is it going to take for Washington to protect former President Trump more, to add security, to realize, as we heard in the news conference from the Palm Beach Sheriff County, he said, well, he's not a sitting president, we know that, but at least ramp up the level of security. Do you expect those calls to come on Capitol Hill starting tomorrow?
They're already calling now. And you got to ask yourself, why was there not a drone flying over wherever the president is? This is ridiculous. This Palm Beach officer, he needs to be demoted or fired, or if he's elected, his people need to set him aside because he is not fulfilling his duty. Clearly, we have got to be careful because the power of suggestion is what we're seeing right now. The left is just ramped up their vitriol. You've seen the tweets that, they're saying something about they need to learn how to aim better and things like that. Those are the type of things that incite.
That would never even fly. Back when Obama was in office or any of that type of stuff, that wouldn't even fly. You could never, ever say anything like that online or in a tweet. They would be at your house tomorrow. They would be at your house tomorrow. Don't y'all know that President Trump, former president, future President Trump actually predicted this and he said it? It was one of the things that he highlighted in the debate. He said, listen, I told y'all. All right, let me pull it up.
Somebody who is on the edge. They know exactly what they're doing. This establishment, the swamp, whatever you want to call it, it's an open sewer. They have thrown down the gauntlet. They know if Donald J. Trump is elected, their days are over. We'll get this country back in order, and they will throw anything and everything at it. The problem is you've got a Secret Service, at least in my opinion, and in the public's eye, that is compromised and that it lacks in leadership. And you've got brave agents on the ground, obviously, one who took that shot. But why in the world would anybody be anywhere?
Check this out. Trump said it. He said it, and everybody just laughed it off. And they was just acting like it wasn't a big deal. They laughed it off. They act like it wasn't a big deal. They didn't say anything. He said it during the debate.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter.
Never heard Trump say that in my life. Do you know how big of a soundbite that would be if he actually said that?
We know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people.
Vice President
to stop
Harris,
him.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized.
They don't like, people don't like that this man speaks his mind and that he says what he means and that he means what he says. And they call it toxic masculinity. They laugh it off. They say that they shouldn't have missed. In reality, he right. You may not like the way he say it. You may not like the fact that he's forthcoming and he's so steadfast in his positions and his thoughts, but he's right. Every single time he say it, people act like, oh man, he's just crazy or whatever. Just 2 months ago, we was in here talking about how Trump took a bullet to the ear. We literally, look, they forgot. Y'all forget so fast. I blame Vine. I blame Reels. I blame TikTok. Y'all forget so fast that this man literally just had a bullet graze his ear by the hairs on his skinny chin. And he said it. He said, look, man, I'm telling you, if anybody is under attack, there is nobody under attack more than me right now. And he said it, and they don't like the fact that they say it. They say he arrogant as a result of it.
We're near the perimeter of this line of sight that we talk about is just beyond me. So we've got to get some answers. I don't think we're going to get them during this administration, but hopefully under the Trump administration, we'll clean this rat's nest out. I mean, we've got to go through these departments like Grant through Richmond, brother. We cannot put up with this anymore.
Well,
and when Trump said that he wanted to audit the federal government, now you know that he said the quiet part out loud. The worst thing that could possibly happen for a lot of these career politicians, for all of these different branches and what's going on, is for there to be a true audit from people outside of the federal government, inside the federal government, headed up by Elon Musk, who went and cleaned out Twitter and the first thing that Elon Musk did is what he do. He released all of the backlogs of all of the stuff that they deleted, and he showed you the level of election interference that was happening at a highest level. He showed you the censorship. He showed you how things was being leveraged. He started to release all of those documents, and you know what we did? We act like he never released it. We act like none of that stuff ever existed. We act like censorship wasn't a thing, that there wasn't some of these organizations at the highest level, and that's just the one that we was able to expose. Why? Because you had to have a person that was on the right side of history go in and spend $44 billion in order to buy a company just so he can expose it and show you what's really happening behind the scenes. Thank God he wasn't on that other side of the fence. Do you know what that looks like if you actually had an audit of the federal government? I can't even jaywalk. I can't walk 5 steps down the street without, hey, Anton, what's going on? I can't drive 7 miles above the speed limit, and I better have my license, insurance, and registration. I better have it all. Or they're going to grab me up like Tyreek Hill.
clearly we don't know the motive why the suspect, Ryan Wesley Routh, allegedly, hit himself in the bushes, but he did have a GoPro. What does that tell you? I mean, it seems that he wanted to potentially suggest to put the assassination of President Trump on social media.
100%. It's an ego thing. It's somebody that wants to be somebody. And look, these people that and
everybody and moderators, we like to give a long leash. So as long as people are not being overly disrespectful, let them rock. They may have a difference of opinion than me. We don't operate in an echo chamber. We invite people that have a difference of opinion to also participate, because we don't do censorship over here on the Anton Daniels channel. We just like to have the conversation and have it in truth. And I'm going to give my opinion. And chat lives matter. I like to listen to what y'all got going on in the chat also.
We'll never know the true story. I'm leaning towards conspiracy on this now, because they put this out enough. They put it in somebody's ear. They know these type of people, how they're going to react. Somebody is putting up this kind of information out there, so these lunatics will pull the trigger on this type of.
It may not be a conspiracy. It could be a lone situation of a lone wolf, someone who's disturbed.
On the last one, that's what everybody said. But, we'll never know that because it's less than a few hours later, they were already washing the roof off, destroying the crime scene. And that creates an air of conspiracy to at least to the American public, and you'll never be able to do that. They keep saying, trust us, trust us. Heck, we don't even know what happened to Kennedy, and that was 60 years ago, brother. Washington, D.C. does not turn loose of its secrets very easily, and the American public are right to question this. When you see hard left people putting out negative things about Trump today, saying they missed, they need to learn how to sight their guns in better and things like that, and those people are not being yanked off the air. Why is that? If it had been, good and well, and it should be, if somebody on the other side was saying that, if heaven forbid somebody on the left was shot at or was killed, there would be cause to shut those people down. But they're not doing that now. They're ramping it up, and they're allowed to do that because that is the vitriol that's coming out of Washington, D.C. and the hard left, because they know they're in trouble.
Well,
let me ask y'all a question. Because I 100% agree with every single thing that this guy, Tim Burchett, is saying, the Tennessee congressman. And he's speaking facts, and he's just telling the truth, and he's just calling a spade a spade. Let me ask y'all a question. considering all that we've learned so far, because there's so much more to know before we move on, because next week everybody gonna forget about it. Second assassination attempt, no big deal. Everybody gonna move on, act like it never happened. Okay, cool. Let me ask y'all a question while it's still fresh in y'all minds, since it just happened yesterday. Okay, no drones. Just so happened to be a random Secret Service agent that see a gun sticking outside of the thing, outside of the chain link fence. We had one of them back when in 88 and 87. We got a new chain link fence around our house in the backyard. We got one. He walks in with an AK-47. Didn't even have a trench coat. He was somehow able to sneak it in within the perimeter, within several hundred yards away from Donald Trump. Laying there with the sniper bushes on him, and he was able to get in his car, get away, and then they didn't even arrest him until several miles away from the location, even after Secret Service agent had shot at him. Few steps away from him. We still don't know anything about what happened at the first assassination attempt. We don't know nothing about it, right? Now if you do anything, now I'm painting this picture for y'all because I want to lead up to a question for the people, and I'm curious as to what y'all think inside of the chat. Now you can't go 5 feet down the street without them pulling up your cell phone pings. They can track your voices. They know where you at all times. Look, you can't even get away from your own wife. Go out there and see what you can do. That's why I don't even pay to cheat no more. They got all kind of, they know who you called, when you called, the exact time that you called, pinging off the cell phone tower, doing the Find My, and they got Life 360 on you all at the same time. You can't breathe. They got the security cameras that they're going to bring in the ring. They tracking your car. They know where you're at, when you're at it, and how you're going to be at it. They know you can't go 5 feet without your homeboys, homegirls seeing you, and you just a normal guy. You're not even a YouTuber. You don't even have no visibility. You ain't even a man in your own city. Your homegirl's homeboy going to call your wife and say, I seen him walking with some random girl. And who was she? You can't breathe wrong without being investigated by both your wife, the police, her mama, and her grandmother. This man was several yards away from being able to fire off on a former president on his own golf course, and was able to get away. And it took the sheriffs to come together within 15 minutes in order to try to do a pit maneuver and gather this guy. Are you sitting here and telling me? Now, this is just a theory. I'm just painting the picture. I just want to paint the picture. Are you sitting here and trying to tell me, telling me, they want us to believe, the news, the media, they want us to believe that this is all just a coincidence? Somebody was able to go up on, I remember when Andrew Yang was running for president. I went to an Andrew Yang campaign rally and they had better security than this. I don't even think he had no Secret Service agent. He was just a primary candidate that was largely unknown, that was trying to give people $2,000 a month. He's sitting in a chain link fence like Mark Wahlberg, trying to hold his breath. Y'all know, like I don't know if y'all ever played video games before, but if you've ever played like Call of Duty or anything like that, and you got the sniper rifle or something like that, if you hit the hold your breath button and it stabilizes, and if you start breathing and it gets unstable, so you don't want to take a shot immediately, you got to, and then start breathing again. Holding his breath Secret Service agent, fire 6 shots. Pow, pow, bang, pow, bang, dicks. Miss all of them. Never touching. Do y'all think that it's a mole and a secret? What do y'all think? Just curious. Just curious. As we paint this picture, y'all tell me, did LeBron James got better security than Donald Trump? Because I know you can't get close to Stephen Curry. You can't get close to nobody. Do LeBron James got better security than Donald Trump? That's all I'm asking. Just a question.
In terms of the roof, perhaps the FBI processed the scene. That's why it was washed off. But, others would say it's both sides. You got rhetoric from the hard right, and the level of rhetoric, of hatred, of anger, of divisiveness has been through the roof in this country. And some would say that's enough to push someone who could be mentally unstable or seek some
now
type
they want to
of
push it. Oh, it's a mentally unstable guy that was able to get that close to Trump. Have you ever seen your mentally unstable crackhead cousin?
Over the edge.
Well, but you're only seeing that from the far left. And as far as the crime scene goes, dadgummit, there shouldn't have been congressmen and civilians on the roof of that building after that. If there's a crime that happens in East Tennessee, there's going to be tape out. They're going to be investigating it sometimes days later. There should have been a tent over that roof. That should have been locked down, but it was not. You basically had souvenir hunters out there, for goodness.
Y'all better get out there and vote. That's all I know. I might have better security than Trump. I might have better security. My guy had on a cowboy hat, and he was like, He's like, Anton, want me to keep an eye on that one? Honest to God, he did. Honest to God. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He said, that one over there, he got a cape on. He got a cape on. He said, I'm going to stand next to him for a little bit, try to feel around his body. If you went to the last Patreon meetup, you know what I'm talking about. If you went to the last Patreon meetup, you know I'm not lying. Sometimes I be joking, but I'm not joking this time. Anybody that was at the last Bag Chaser meetup, he said, that one over there, he got a costume on. I don't know what that is. He said, I'm gonna stand next to him. I'm gonna rub up against him. I'm gonna talk to him for a little bit, and I'm gonna be back with you, Mr. Daniels. I'll be right back. Right back. Give me 20 minutes. He went, he said, okay, he said, I'll keep an extra eye on that one. Am I lying? Am I lying? If I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, he was on it, wasn't he? He was on it, wasn't he? Y'all know I ain't messing around. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. I said he seemed like a good guy. I talked to him personally.